Hi, this is Emily Wardrop from Drop the War Life Coaching, where we learn to drop the war on our mom guilt to create more peace in our parenting. Is that something that sounds good to you? Do you need a little more peace in your life? Is there chaos swirling around even as we speak? Just like there is outside my door right now. I know you're a busy mama, right? You got kids that are asking for milk, that want you to peel their orange, that are spilling their milk on the floor, that are eating the orange peel because you're watching this video right now. But I have a question for you. Of all the needs that need to be met right now, like that kid spilling jelly on the couch, or the other one that's trying to cut their orange because you're not paying attention and they really want to get into that orange, they have a knife in their hand right now. Okay, quick check. Does anybody have a knife? Is anyone spilling jelly on the couch? Okay, of all these needs, there's a lot of kids in your house. Trust me, I know. I have 5. There's a lot of kids in my house and they're little. So they have a lot of needs. And I know that your kids have a lot of needs too. So what is the most important need right now? Right now, that's where I made it a trick question. So right now it might be the kid with the knife, right? Probably, because you don't really want them to cut their finger off. If it wasn't the knife, it might be the jelly. You don't really want a huge jelly staying on the couch. That's important, right? What's the very most important need, period? Like not right now, but whose needs are the very most important? Do you hear that in your brain all day long? Like, which need do I need to take care of first? Which is the most important need, right? So we're always assessing what's going on around us, who needs what, who needs it first. Baby is crying, that usually takes my attention first, because if that baby is crying, then everybody needs their needs put on hold while I take care of her, and then I can take care of them, right? But is the baby's needs the most important? Is the couch the most important? The couch is pretty important, costs a lot of money, really don't want a big purple jelly stain on it. How about the emergency room cost for the kid who just cut their finger off? That's an important need, right? So we're always assessing this. Did you come up with an answer? Do you know what my answer is yet? Whose needs are the most important? Yours are. If you didn't get that right, then you pause this movie and you go sign up right now to talk with me, because I want to convince you that your needs are the most important needs of everyone's needs in the house. You have kids, they have needs. That's not going anywhere. But you are a person too, and you have needs, and they have got to be met first before you can take care of the other kids' needs. That doesn't mean like chronologically first, because yeah, right now you need to take care of the knife more than you need to be listening to me. Like pause this and take that knife out of that kid's hand, or at least supervise it, right? So that she can learn how to cut her own orange if she's of an age that you feel comfortable with that, right? So it doesn't mean you're first all the time, but your needs are the most important for you to meet. You have got to meet your own needs before you even can meet anyone else's, or try to, because really that's a subject for another day. But anyway, the point is, you mama, your needs are important. Are you paying attention to your own needs? Are you trying to meet your own needs? Are you doing anything for yourself at all? Or are you absolutely drowning in the needs of other people? I promise you that the most important battle you need to fight right now to drop the war, to find the peace, is, because we're always picking which battle we want to fight, right? But the absolutely most important battle you need to fight, and this is absolutely like I have been fighting this battle, is to get some alone time and take care of your own needs. So what I really want you to do is hit pause on this video, because I'm sure you're only half listening, because there's kids and needs all around you. But your needs, mama, your needs are the most important. So pause the video and text your husband right now and say, I need some alone time tonight. I need some me time. I need some, whatever the catchphrase is. That means I'm losing my mind, and you better come home ready with your game on, because my game is done. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you sent these texts before? If you never have, then you especially need to, right? I need you to take over when you get home. I need some me time. I have needs, and it's okay to express them. In fact, you need to, because you need, right? So I call it I need you to do everything. Can you do everything so I can go take a bath? Can you do everything so I can go get a pedicure? Can you do everything so I can just breathe for a minute? Can you do everything? Because I feel like I'm doing everything all the time, and not just all day, all night too, right? You know, if you are still listening to me, then you know, right? Which means you haven't paused. I'm serious, like pause right now and go text your husband. And I'm just going to continue to keep going to convince you to do this until you actually do it. So if you paused on the first time I told you to, way to go, mama. And we'll get to that in a second, but I'm still trying to convince those of you who haven't paused yet that you need to pause the video and text your husband and say, I need you to do everything so that I can do me tonight. Like, I have got to take care of myself. I have needs. They are most important. Oxygen mask, right? Is that, are you sick of that analogy, or have you never heard it? Like, you literally have got to put your own oxygen mask on first. They tell you every single time you're on a flight to put on your own oxygen mask first before you put on your kids. Have you ever thought about why that is? Because if you pass out, they don't stand a chance. You've got to take care of yourself first. Mama, we are doing self-care tonight. I have a date, you and me. So it's not really alone time because I'll be there too, but alone from the rest of the family. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't care about their needs. It doesn't mean that you're not going to take care of them. It means that you are going to take care of them with way more of you because you have filled your cup and now you're ready to fill theirs. Have I made my point yet? Have you hit pause yet? Okay, for real now. Hi, welcome back. Thanks for hitting pause. Is it just you and me now? Is it just you and me? It's so fun. Let's have some alone time. It's girl party time. Sorry, I just checked the computer with my excitement. Okay, I have some very important things I want to tell you, and that is why I need your full attention. So we got the kids' needs taken care of, right? By our husband who is taking care of the kids. And I'm very, very sorry if you do not have a husband to take care of the needs. But if you're still listening to me, even though I ranted and raved about dumping them on the husband, then, and you've figured out a way to take care of your own needs so that you and I are together, even more freaking power to you, mama. Holy cow. I have no idea. Gonna get emotional about it because, wow, you go girl. Single moms, I have no idea how you can do it. I don't know how I do it with a husband. I have no idea how people do it without a husband. I have no idea how anybody does anything that's not me. Like, I don't even know how I do it. And I for sure, like, mind blown how anybody else. Anyway, but I do know one thing, that we need to take care of our own needs. Have I said that enough yet? Okay, I have, because here we are. It's just you and me. You're taking care of your own needs tonight by listening to this video. And I want to applaud you, and I want you to applaud yourself. Give yourself a huge pat on the back right now. You didn't do it. Seriously, go like this. Give yourself a little massage. I mean, we are having alone time. That means we need to take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath. Okay, fill your lungs with oxygen. To congratulate yourself. We usually fill ourselves with chocolate to congratulate ourselves. But I promise what your body needs is more oxygen. We do not breathe enough, right? We're taking care of kids. We're trying to make sure they're breathing at all times. We need to make sure we're breathing too. In fact, the physical therapist, I just had 5 kids, right? In 8 years or something. My oldest is not 8 yet. So I decided to go to a physical therapist for the pelvic floor, right? Let's fix stuff up down there. And it turns out I've been breathing wrong all along. So yeah, fill your lungs. That feels good. I've been doing that. But when you're pregnant, that's all you can do is lung breathing. And apparently we're supposed to like fill up our stomach too. I haven't been doing that. So I've been practicing breathing lately because apparently I even breathe wrong, right? Do you feel like that, mama? We're here to talk about dropping the guilt. And the reason we drop the guilt is because we're doing it wrong, right? I've even been breathing wrong. Did you catch that? So whatever, we'll get into that in a minute, but first we're breathing, right? So if you want to lung breathe, go ahead. If you're pregnant, for sure, that might be all you can handle, but I'm done being pregnant. So nice. I'm gonna belly breathe. Ready? Fill up my whole belly so that I feel pregnant again. I look pregnant again. All the oxygen is in my belly, and then exhale, get it all out. And this is where you do your Kegel. P.S. if you're working on that pelvic floor, also is in the exhale. I had no idea I was doing Kegels wrong. You're supposed to Kegel with the exhale. Oh, the inhale, exhale, I literally have to practice. Okay, but we're focused on you, not me. That's my thing. Your thing is I want to teach you all about dropping the war with the mom guilt, okay? I have all sorts of free resources all over this webpage. This is where you found the video, right? That's what I'm making it for, is but right on the homepage. So I hope this is the first thing you're seeing. If not, whatever, you peruse around and maybe at some point you decide to hit play, or maybe I'll use this video for something else someday and this doesn't make any sense. Hopefully by then I'll figure out how to edit and I can cut this part out. But for now, you get stream of conscience. Isn't that nice? Because I'm not going to edit this video. So what were we talking about? Dropping the mom guilt. Okay, I have so many things to say about this, so many. I have a whole blog. If you found the blog on the website, it has a lot of stuff about dropping power struggles, because that's the war that we used to work on dropping for the first couple of years of my business. But now I'm ready, because I don't really like talking about kids. I have to deal with kids all day. I don't help you with your parenting struggles. What I really want to help you with is your own struggles in your own head. We have a war going on in our own heads all the time, because we have a higher brain and a lower brain. Have you seen this? The kids learn it at school even now. I'm so happy that they're learning this at school. It comes from the whole brain child, or what's the other one called? No drama discipline. So good. That started my whole rabbit hole. I love that book. Okay. This is your lower brain, or your animal brain, or whatever. People call it a lot of different things. Your monkey brain. I have a daughter who loves monkeys, just a girl who loves monkeys. So it's her monkey brain. But we are humans, right? And we have a prefrontal cortex. And that prefrontal cortex can calm down our crazy brain. That's something I, in secret, call my lower brain sometimes. Nobody else can call me crazy, but I can call myself, right? And it's coming from a good place. We don't need to hate on our lower brain. It's a very important part of our brain, right? It keeps us alive, but it also gets us in trouble sometimes. So we also have a prefrontal cortex that helps kind of control that. So this is a war that is happening all day when we flip our lid, right? That's what they teach the kids, right? Your lid is flipped. Let's kind of help it calm down and get some rational thinking, right? Because their prefrontal cortex full on is like not even developed yet. I've heard lots of different ages of when it comes online, but I think it's because every kid is different and every human is different and every person is different. And we all have various degrees of prefrontal cortex working. That's the point. And our kids for sure have way less than we do. And that's why we feel like a toddler when we flipped our lid, because that's how toddlers act. They don't have the prefrontal cortex online yet. And we expect them to behave so that we can behave. That's not going to happen, people. So let's learn how to work our prefrontal cortex, right? Okay. Point is, that is one more that we're trying to drop. And that's the one that I want to help you work on, okay? Your own self-regulation. You cannot help your kids regulate if you're unregulated, right? And so I have found in my years of coaching and thinking about these things that the main thing for me, and probably for a lot of you, because I've heard client after client after client talking about the guilt, the layers of guilt and shame that we add on top of being imperfect is the problem. Being imperfect is not a problem. We're humans. Of course we're imperfect. That is the whole plan. That is the whole point. We have to be imperfect in this life. In our human condition, we are imperfect. That's not a problem. It is not a problem. I want you to hear me say this. It's just you and me in the bubble bath right now. It's not a problem that you are imperfect. That is the plan. You're supposed to be imperfect. I'm supposed to be imperfect. We're supposed to make mistakes. How the heck do we learn anything if we don't make a mistake? How does a baby learn to walk if they don't fall down? Why do we expect ourselves to be perfect? Why? It's ridiculous. My brain gives me that word a lot, all day long. Everything's ridiculous. But for real, this is ridiculous. We expect ourselves to be perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. We're in this imperfect world. We're in this imperfect human state for a reason. That's the whole point. We're supposed to learn stuff. If we were perfect, there'd be nothing to learn. We have to learn. We have to make mistakes. If we just keep making the mistake over and over and over and over and over and don't learn anything from it, then we'll learn eventually. Like, that is the whole point. That's fine too. It's not a problem. Okay. So What are these mistakes I'm even talking about? You know, because you know what you feel guilty about. But I am going to bet that one of them, just as a hypothetical example, is yelling at your kids, right? Because when we're unregulated, that monkey brain it's fight or flight. It is ingrained in our bodies. And if God made us this way and he made this plan, it's a perfect plan for us to be imperfect. So there's a reason. So when we just fight against it and we try to be perfect all the time, we're fighting reality. The reality is that we are imperfect humans on this imperfect world at this time to learn from our imperfection. Our kids are learning from our imperfection. If they had a perfect mom, what would they learn? Nothing, except to beat themselves up even more because they can't ever measure up to their perfect mother. My kids will not have that problem. They have a very imperfect mother. They are seeing what it's like to be a human, that even when you're a grown-up, you do not have this figured out, right? And that is a lesson worth learning. Being perfect teaches them nothing. It teaches us nothing. We have no growth. The point of this life is for growth. At least that's what I believe. So anyway, let me come off my soapbox and figure out what I was really going to say, because that was sort of a tangent. The first thing I wanted to tell you, actually, now that it's just you and me in the bubble bath that's gone cold now because that tangent went on forever, is your worth is 100%. Your value is set. Do you believe that? Do you believe in your divine worth? It just is. You are a human being born on this planet. It just means that you are 100% worthy, 100% perfect. Oh, did that perfect give you a little, because I just told you we were imperfect. And that's where my brain goes a little wonky. So let me tell you what I believe, okay? And if you don't believe this, it's totally fine. You can believe whatever you want to believe. But if you're still listening, then it's because something is resonating and you really want to get rid of this mom guilt. And I have found that the number one way to drop the war on our mom guilt is to just accept our humanness, okay? So being human is a little confusing because as a human on this planet, what I believe is that your worth is 100%. Your value is 100%, but you are imperfect. Is that a little mind wonky? I'll tell you why it's wonky, because we're eternal beings. We are having a human experience on the earth right now, but this life is not all there is. So some of you might already believe this because you learned this at the same church I learned it at, which PS is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right? And this is what we learned there, is that we have existed forever and we're going to exist forever, but we have this little mortal life right now. Pretty sure that's doctrinally sound. A lot of the other things I say are my own thoughts and you can take them or leave them, okay? Even that part, you can take it or leave it. If you don't go to my church, if you don't even believe in God, take or leave anything you want. But all I'm trying to do is show you some thoughts that I've come up with that have helped me drop the guilt, and you come up with your own thoughts to drop the guilt. But if this is resonating and you're still listening, then I'll just keep talking. But if you disagree, and you want to talk about it, then sign up to chat with me sometime. I would absolutely love that. And but as a coach, I'm not going to try to convince you that my thoughts are right and that you need to believe the same way I believe. That's absolutely the opposite of what a coach does. A coach just asks you about your thoughts so that I can understand what's going on in your brain. As your coach, I'm just trying to find the thoughts that are not serving you. Right? So if you believe something different, that's absolutely fantastic. But if it's not serving you and you want to change your thought, great. Okay. That's what I've been doing on my own brain for a few years. And I found these thoughts that have helped me drop the guilt. So I'm going to share with you my thoughts. If you want to talk to me about your thoughts, then you sign up for a coaching session and I'll pick your brain a little bit and we'll find the ones that are kind of giving you the, and we'll figure out what you want to think instead. But for now, for this video, you get to hear my thoughts. Okay, that tangent over. Add some more hot water and some more bubble bath. Have you found the secret to a bubble bath that lasts? Because I have not. I've tried a lot of different things and the bubbles don't last as long as my baths do. Anyway, You may not be taking a bubble bath. Maybe that's not your thing for self-care time, but I really love it. That's my thing. I keep looking at these notes and they all just look like a bunch of chicken scratch. So I don't know what I was planning on saying, but I do remember where we were. Your value is 100%. You are 100% worthy. So the day you were born, you kind of believe that, right? With a baby. I had a baby recently, 3 months ago to be exact. Absolute perfection, right? Like one time I had a baby, not this one, but her foot was a little bit skewump. I guess she hadn't wiggled it too much in utero and it was like all sideways. And the doctor said that it'd be fine by like 18 months or whatever. But every checkup, we're always like, are you sure this foot's good? Like, and now I completely forgot. She's totally fine. Like, anyway. So was that little foot a little imperfect? I guess, or maybe like my first son was in the special care NICU, whatever, for 2 weeks, all sorts of stuff. So maybe you would say it's like imperfect, whatever. My mom always says, do they have 10 fingers and 10 toes? But she had a grandson who had a webbed toe. So was that 10? I don't know. The point is, what is your definition of perfect, basically, is my point. But like, even if, I have a friend whose son has no arms, one finger, that's it. And he was absolutely perfect. He still is perfect. Okay. So we're imperfect, but our value is 100% set. So that, just to decrease the wonkiness in my brain, I'm going to stop saying we're perfect, because I really want to believe that we're imperfect, but that's okay. We're perfectly imperfect is what I always say. So, so here's the thing. Oh, hold on. I didn't finish that last thing. This is why I should have an outline that makes sense and doesn't just look like a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Okay. Your value is set 100%. We believe that when we're babies, right? That's where I tangented. So, but what about now? Like, what's the difference? When did we start believing that we're so flawed, right? When we started making mistakes. At what age do you make mistakes? Like, we believe that the age of accountability is 8 and you should get baptized at 8. But what's that even mean? Like, that means that like none of my kids, literally, because none of them are 8 yet or been baptized, have made a mistake. Are you kidding me? All day long, I'm telling them what to do. Which things that I think are mistakes, like that jelly on the couch, right? Or the cutting the nut. Like, how did they not make a mistake if I'm like correcting them all the time, right? Wonky. I'm telling you, these are the kinds of thoughts I think about. Just I try to like figure it out. But oh, another reason why we go wonky. Did I say this part back when I was thinking about this? I believe, oh yeah, this is when I got in on what I believe, right? So I personally believe that like perfection is something that we're going to reach in the eternities, maybe. Who knows? I don't know that for sure. But I feel like we want to be perfect. And that want, that longing, that striving is like for a reason, because our eternal perspective, maybe we get there, right? We have an eternal potential that potentially we could be perfect someday, like in the eternities someday, right? Maybe, like maybe that's why we always seek for it. But what I do know that in this life, we're not going to attain that. Like, we are flawed humans in a, I don't know, broken world, whatever you could call it. I don't like saying a broken person, so I don't really like calling the world broken either, but there are flaws, right? We'll agree on that maybe. Anyway, eternally, we'll get to perfection. So sometimes we think that we can reach that now. And yes, improve, sure, get better, whatever that means. Yeah, like that is what we're trying to do in this life, I guess. I think that the point of the life is to learn how to love, right? And it is the greatest commandment, right? And so if the greatest commandment is to love God, and he says, if you love me, keep my commandments. So we're keeping the commandments. That's pretty, I found in my life, I didn't get married till I was 31. It was a lot easier to keep a lot of the commandments, even love one another by myself. But we are in relation to other people. Like, even if we're single, there's a million people all around us, right? We have relationships all around us. And that is where the rubber meets the road, right? Like, it'd be a lot easier, I think, to keep the commandments sitting right here in my office all by myself. some of them, most of them maybe, but in relation to other people, that is where you really learn. And what's the second greatest commandment is to love one another and love ourselves, right? And that is a lifelong pursuit, right? That is not something we're just gonna like perfect in a day or a week or years or ever. Like we're gonna go to our grave not 100% loving everyone, I'm pretty sure. I think only Jesus did that because he was actually perfect. We are not perfect. So in this life, I think that that's what we're trying to learn is how to love, because it sounds so simple. And you can even say it like, I love everybody. Oh, I love the humans. I love people. I love, but really, like we will dig into what that means for real, because that's something I like to think about. So, but not on this video that's already going way longer than I expected. I did want to keep this short because you do have other needs to meet, not just your own tonight, right? You gotta get back to those other needs that all those other people have. But we're working on meeting our needs tonight, right? And so what I really, really, really want you to take away from this video is that you are a human, you are imperfect, but that is perfect, okay? It is not a problem. Nothing has gone wrong here, right? So if you can remember that all through the day, it drops the guilt, because this is what happens. You wake up and you're perfect. You haven't done anything wrong yet. Maybe you had a thought, right? And that thought, so we feel guilt because we have a value system and we do something that's not in alignment with our value system. And that makes us feel guilty because we think a thought like, I just did something wrong. Okay. So if I didn't wake up and have a perfect, beautiful moment because some kid woke me up and I yelled at that kid, the very first thing literally that I did this morning was yell at a kid, if this is a hypothetical situation. And I have a value system that says I don't want to yell at my kids, but I did yell at my kid because, oh, I did do that. It might have technically been the first thing I did this morning because it was like 3 a.m. I had a kid in my bed kicking me over and over and I didn't like it. And I think I was not nice to her. I don't know if you would call it yelling, but I definitely was not the kind of mom I want to be. I want to be a nice mom, and I was not nice. And daddy took her back to her bed because I was done with her kicking me. Okay, that happened. That's it. Not in alignment with like the kind of mom I want to be. And so I could beat myself up about that all day, but clearly I didn't because I forgot all about it. So go me, win. But I do want to feel guilty because I don't want to continue to do that. I'm getting the message from my brain that the feeling of guilt, because my brain thinks that's out of alignment with the kind of mom you want to be. And I want to continue to get those messages from my brain. So I do want to feel guilty sometimes because my brain thinks I shouldn't have done that, right? That's fine. What we really want to drop is the shame. So shame says there's something wrong with me. Like I am imperfect. I am bad. I am impatient. I used to have the story that I'm just impatient, right? And I definitely was feeling impatient with that kick over and over and over, right? But that's not a problem. Like there's not something wrong with me that I don't like being kicked, right? And so maybe there's something wrong with the way I reacted to that, but I'm an imperfect person, right? Let's say it again. I'm an imperfect person, and that's perfectly okay because this is the point of this life, is to be imperfect and to learn, right? So I want to learn from my mistake, right? So maybe next time I get kicked once and I'm like, I don't like being kicked, and I can handle it a little more rationally, right? Instead of like, I'm getting kicked. And then I like flip my lid, right? And handle it in a way that's not the kind of mom I want to be. So I dropped the guilt by knowing that I am an imperfect person, and it's fine. Like a lot of people are like, well, I did my best. And if that thought works for you, great. If that helps you drop the guilt, that's fantastic. Like I said, you can think whatever you want. And I will help you see if those thoughts are like getting you the results that you want in the end. Are you the kind of mom you want to be? If you're not, then the guilt thoughts we need to work on. So for me, I did my best, not working. Like, in fact, it never has. My dad used to ask me that about school, if my grades weren't like awesome. Well, did you do your best? I'm like, no, I never do my best. Like I could always do better, right? It's that like eternal perspective, perfection. Like I know that can be better. And I know even that I could do better than that, but I didn't, and I didn't want to, and that's fine. Right. So that's where I get like, I'm imperfect. Okay. I'm human. And that for me is the thought that helps me like move on with my day instead of spiraling down in the guilt and shame spiral. Are you familiar? Have you felt it? Where first thing you did was scream at your kids. So then you're like, well, this day's out, like, okay, maybe tomorrow. It's like eating right. Like as soon as you like have a random cookie, then okay, let's just eat anything. Like we don't need to do that. We made a mistake. It's totally fine. We don't need to continue to make mistakes because we're beating ourselves up with the shame, right? Okay. So shame, I think that shame means I did something that, okay, so guilt is I did something out of alignment with my value system. Shame is like I did something wrong in the sight of God, right? Like that's how we feel when we feel shame. Okay, I need to turn this heater off. It is really cold in here. So I have the space heater on, but now I'm getting heated up. Okay, so shame is like, oh my gosh, I did something bad. I am wrong in the sight of God. Like I think, well, for me anyway, like I've noticed this, is that I'm putting like that kind of pressure on me. And that is why I feel shame. Like, and legitimately, like I am imperfect. I am breaking commandments. I am doing things that are wrong in the sight of God. And that's fine. Like, as long as I can add that, and I'm human, that's the point. God made my body. God made this plan. God made my brain. Like, he knows it's okay. Like having imperfect humans on this planet was his plan. So he knows that you're going to. And instead, when we feel shame, oh, there's something wrong with me, we want to hide and hide from God and be like, oh, don't look, I did something wrong. And then from that place, it just spirals, right? And it just gets worse. But what we're trying to do is learn and get better, right? And so in order to learn, we need to drop the shame. We don't need to hide. We need to accept it. Like, yeah, I did that. That was crappy. Wish I didn't do that. Don't want to ever do that ever again, but I did do it. So like, yeah, we don't want to yell at our kids, but saying like, I'm a terrible person because I yelled at my kids is not keeping me from yelling at them again. The likelihood of yelling again when I'm yelling at myself about yelling at the kids is very high. But the likelihood of yelling at them again when I'm like, whoops, and calm myself down, figure out all the thought, emotion, all the work, like this is the work that I can help you do. Then you can show up for your kids sane, like prefrontal cortex down, controlling that. Anyway, where'd that tangent come from? What are you talking about? Are you still with me? This is like a 10-hour video, super exciting. Anyway, the point is, drop the guilt. I can help you do it. There's all sorts of free, hey, somebody knows it's time to wrap up. Who is it? Okay, I'm still working, just a sec, okay? Well, then plug it in. My phone died. That's what was keeping her from knocking earlier. Okay, she can find a plug. Drop the war with the mom guilt. You can do it. I can help. There's all sorts of free resources on my website, or you can sign up for a free consult where we can talk about specifics and figure out a time. I know your schedule's crazy because you've got littles. My schedule's crazy because I've got littles, but I would love to help you because this is not something that can wait. Like, let's get it figured out while your kids are little so that you don't have to carry the guilt with you until your kids are grown. If your kids are grown and you're still carrying the guilt, I can help you. You don't have to carry it to your grave, right? We need to figure this out because who else are you going to talk to about it? I love a good girlfriend chat. Like, I love getting my chat on. That's my favorite thing to do. Obviously, I'm a little chatty. But your girlfriend is just going to muck in the mud with you. Like, I'm in the thick of it with you. I promise I am. I have 5 kids out there that wish that I was playing with them, and I want to go play with them too. But I really want to help you. So I drop the guilt about not being with them because I'm working in here, and I will work with you to drop your guilt too, because seriously, it does not make you a better mom to beat yourself up. I promise. You cannot beat yourself up better. If you want to get better, I can help you. You're not going to do it by feeling guilty and, well, shame, a little bit of guilt, right? But the shame we will drop completely, because there's nothing wrong with you. You're a perfectly imperfect human that just needs to remember that, and I can help you. So what else was I going to say? So many things. As soon as I hit stop, I'll remember all the things, but maybe that's good enough for today. So dropthewarlifecoach.com. I guess that's where you found this. That's where I'm going to post it. But I'm also on Facebook, a little bit on Instagram. I've got years back of going live and blah, blah, blahing like this. So if you want to learn some more tips and tricks, there's all sorts of videos there. If this was so fun to hang out with me during your alone time, you can check out those other videos. Or if you want to talk to me in the flesh, I'd love to talk to you and talk about your brain and how we can drop that guilt, because the layer of guilt, it changes everything. It really changes everything. You are a 10 out of 10 mom. This is a thought I've been working on lately. And I initially thought a 10 out of 10 mom meant I'm a perfect mom. Guess what? A perfectly imperfect mom is a 10 out of 10. Even if you feel like a 3 out of 10, it's perfect. It's fine. It's totally fine wherever you're at. If you want to get somewhere else, that's what I can help you do. Okay. That's what life coaches do. We bridge the gap, right? You're where you are, and then we're going to promise you this result, and I can get you to that result. You can define the result in this case. Like, I'm not going to tell you what kind of mom you need to be. You need to follow these sort of whatevers. Like, you define what kind of mom you want to be, and I can help you get there. I promise. Wow. Is that enough? I just had like a million more thoughts. I would love to share more with you. So sign up, let's chat together, and I'll figure out exactly what you need to hear instead of what I just feel like saying right now. So we're going to just trust that that was everything I wanted to say, because I have no idea what those notes say. You are human and nothing has gone wrong. Here, I can read that. It's true. Try that thought on, see what you think, and let me know. If you want me to, how do I stop this? All right, I'll see you next time. Emily Wardrop, Drop the War Life Coaching, where we learn to drop the war on the mom guilt, to create more peace in our parenting. I was about to go on another tangent, talk about that another day. Okay. All right, have a good one. Bye.